day, again, a monumental day for the city of Sacramento, but let's keep on doing what we've been doing. Let's make a difference in our communities. Again, please give another round of applause for all of our sponsors behind us. And then certainly all the young talent that have come to City Hall for the summer. We've got to try to figure out ways to keep them here. So let's show them a little love. I see we got Dave from Salvation Army here, Dwight from Conservation Corps, Tim Brown and Ann from Sacramento Steps Forward, and Sheila from Sac State. So thank each and every one of you for coming out. And we'll open it up to a couple questions. And if you have questions on city business, please let's wait for a few minutes so we can at least answer some questions on this particular initiative. Ryan?
Yeah, well, last year the goal was 500,000 hours. Where are you at this point this year? I guess the goal
So his question was, last year our goal was 500,000 volunteer hours in 2009. We ended up getting 1.7 million. So we figured that this year in 2010, our goal would be 3 million. And that's big, it's bold, it's audacious. The thing that we need to realize, last year when we achieved our goal, it made us the most caring city in California. If we get to 3 million, that means that essentially 33% or so of Sacramentans will be contributing by giving their time. It will make us one of the top 10 cities in America when it comes to service hours. So that's kind of where we are in terms of our goal going forward.
Mayor, I don't know if this is a question for you or Keith, but a concrete example of, let's just say in public safety, what you guys are looking at. Like I know in Auburn they're using volunteers to, for park purposes, but just, example of where
So Ben asked a question. He said, give us a concrete example. We had 4 areas that we're really focusing on this year: public safety, education, the environment, and homelessness. I'll have Keith come up and give a good specific example on public safety.
Sure. My short time here, me coming from out of state, I was quite aware of the fact that we are now, your city, our city, is on FEMA's watch list as the #1 city for the levees to break and have another Katrina incident happen. When I got here, I was amazed at how few citizens here in Sacramento know that are aware of that, or are engaged and involved. So something we've been talking about with emergency management, with the volunteer organizations after the disaster, is to figure out how do we create a grassroots campaign to reach out to the special needs populations, those senior citizens in homes, those people living in low-income communities, to really reach down and make sure that they're at least have the basics around education when it comes to citizen education and emergency management. So creating a high-impact service initiative that's about public education, making sure that people have a plan, they know what to do if something does happen here in the city of Sacramento. So it's disaster preparedness really is the focus within public safety.
Okay, so you're not looking at replacing anything that police officers already do or close to?
Not at all, not at all. I think there's some we have something called Citizen Corps here in Sacramento. Phenomenal program. It's an umbrella and has volunteers and police support, neighborhood watch. A lot of things already happening beneath it. We just want to know how to ramp up their initiatives and the impact that they're having, but then also target, focus, impact. We're talking impact, not really the hours, numbers, but impact. How do we then figure out how every household, especially special needs populations, can be informed of what to do if a disaster does strike the city of Sacramento?
All right, yes ma'am.
The Rockefeller grant is a 2-year grant that expires in 2 years. So what happens after this 2 years? Are we talking about a 2-year time frame to get volunteer organism up, or
I think what the Rockefeller Foundation's goal was to really jumpstart some cities by giving them seed money, so that way you can take 100,000 in year 1 and 100,000 in year 2, hire someone like a chief service officer like we've done with Keith, and then prove over the next couple years the impact and the benefit to the community. And then maybe it's something that the city would be able to maintain and sustain going forward. Any other questions? Okay, you guys got to ask the fellows some questions because you got to break them in right. Come on up, Kim, Sarah, Aaron. Come on up. Come on, fire. Do like you guys do me. Fire.
Have any of you read this plan yet?
Yes, we all have.
You heard that. 3 for 3.
Come on, Rob.
What do you think?
Okay.
Who's on government? Is that?
I am. Okay.
What role do you have in crafting this? And what do you do there?
It was done by outside legal legal counsel, but as far as what I think of it, especially coming from an outside perspective, outside the city of Sacramento, it seemed like a very straightforward situation where the city has so much potential and yet is being held back by its current government structure. And I think the mayor's doing an excellent job of not giving up and pushing forward, and hopefully he's successful.
One thing I'd just like to add is that we attended the city council meeting where there was a vote in terms of whether or not to move forward and have the city attorney draft the legal language. And for me, that was my second city council meeting ever. And one thing I thought was really interesting, there were a tremendous number of people. I mean, the room was packed with people wearing shirts that said, "Let us vote." And I don't think that there was a more clear message in terms of what the city of Sacramento wants in regards to this plan. And so I think for me, as a newcomer, as an outsider, I think it was very clear in terms of the citizens being able to have a voice and what that could potentially do for the city.
I think we should end the press conference. All right, somebody ask Sarah a question. Unrelated to that. Come on, Ryan.
So you're in charge of volunteer, you're in volunteer.
I'm on the volunteerism.
She's in
yes,
charge.
civic
She's
and-
in charge.
Yeah.
So 3 million hours, so it'd be doubling last year's. I mean,
Sorry.
pretty big feat. They did it.
Absolutely. It is a big number, but if you look at the fact that over 3 times the goal was met last year, I think the people of Sacramento are more than willing to step up, and we've seen people, students and in private industry and all over, just really willing to donate their time. So I think it's very achievable.
Hey, Mayor. So a lot of budget cuts and programs getting cut. How can you use the volunteer group to kind of offset some of those things that are being cut? Park services or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, what we want to do is be creative and innovative. So, I mean, if you look at last year, there was a big homeless challenge in our community, and what we took with volunteers, working with existing organizations that were already doing work, and giving them more capacity and more manpower. So one of the things that we were able to do with volunteers, we were able to go out to where the campers, the homeless people were camped along the river, and we were able to survey them and ask them what would it take for them to leave this illegal camping situation. And they said things like, we want a place for our pets, or we want at least a room over our heads where we can take our family members. So being able to dispatch 20 or 30 more people was a huge advantage for us that didn't overly burden the city. When you look at what's happening in the county and the city, they're all facing significant budget challenges. So we have to be a community that's able to do more with less. So everyone back here, you know, our sponsors are saying, look, we're going to invest $225,000 so that we can leverage those dollars. That's going to be translate into, you know, $30 million worth of economic impact that volunteers are going to do in our community. So that's just one tangible example. You know, Ben asked a question earlier on public safety. If you go around the Thomas area in particular, and if you ask them, is there an emergency plan, and what do we do if something happens? A lot of people don't know. So we need to make sure that we do a much better job when it comes to public education and awareness. Lord willing, Lord forbid, some catastrophe hit in our community. We can take volunteers to be able to lead the way when it comes to awareness and outreach in our community. Okay, so that concludes our press conference in terms of our Chief Service Officer and volunteerism. Everyone's invited indoors. We're going to have a reception right inside the foyer area. So thank you all for coming, and if the media has questions on city business, I will hang around. So thank you.